Colin Simmons really burst onto the scene last season as a true freshman, finishing with 9 sacks coming out of Duncanville. That was pretty impressive. I'm even more impressed with the way that he was able to follow up that performance with an 11-sack sophomore campaign. I think a lot of pass rushers especially, you'll see them get to those early starts in their college football careers, and then the tape gets out, and then, the opposing offensive lines, the opposing offenses kind of find a way to slow them down. Colin Simmons didn't only slow down his sophomore season, he's actually speeding up. So we're going to watch what he did against Texas A&M. He was a major reason why Texas wins this game and a major reason why Texas is still in the playoff conversation. So we'll talk about what he did against this Marcel Reed led offense. In this first play, Texas A&M is going to do a lot of RPOs, a lot of read options where they're leaving guys unblocked. And, it makes sense sometimes, but, every now and then when you're going to leave a guy like Colin Simmons unblocked, this dude is just going to get into the backfield so fast and force the issue. The whole point of an RPO is that the quarterback's making the right decision. When you got a guy like Colin Simmons on the defense, there is no right decision. This is honestly the best outcome that this turns into an incomplete pass because it was trending towards a sack and maybe even a fumble. But this next pass rush that we're going to take a look on, this right tackle, Cronover, 6'7", 340, massive football player. He's actually a pretty good football player. Probably a guy that's going to be a day 2 pick in 2026. And I actually think he did a pretty good job kind of containing, or I'll say like neutralizing Colin Simmons for a little bit. But, I think he did as good as you can against Colin Simmons. I'll put it that way. But this first snap, you could tell, you watch film on Colin Simmons, that first step happens a lot faster in real time. And look at how fast that Colin Simmons gets to the outside. This is a hard guy to beat to that outside shoulder. This is a 6'7", 340 guy. I mean, you could take a look at the right tackle right now. Look at how much more wide he is than the entire Texas A&M offensive line. That's a wide guy. And Colin Simmons just completely beats him to his outside shoulder. And I also want to point out the fact, watch how Colin Simmons just kind of chases down Marcel Reed after the fact. Just keep that in the back of your mind, how he's always chasing down people. Dude, the athleticism is one thing. That's what's going to get him drafted really early in 2027 when he comes out, if that's when he comes out. But, I really get excited about the motor. And there's a lot of plays where the sacks happen because of pure athleticism, but I think even more happen from that athleticism plus effort. And we'll see that in this game as well. But now I want you to take a look at the right tackle again. I think this is later in the game. He's kind of used to Colin Simmons being so fast to the outside. He actually does a good job getting to the outside. Well, when you kind of overextend to that outside shoulder, if you're the right tackle, that's going to leave that inside wide open. So I think the next step for Colin Simmons, something he's going to get better at, is kind of playing off of that outside move into the inside move. Please watch Cassius Howell. Watch Cassius Howell, the way that he does it. Pass rusher for Texas A&M, he does such a good job of getting to the outside and then flashing to the inside if the right tackle or the tackle kind of over protects that outside shoulder. And you'd see Colin Simmons kind of does it on this one, but you kind of see how he kind of hits like a juke move like that. I think the next step is going to be him right now. Once he sees that right tackle over, just kind of float to his outside shoulder like that. Right now, I think next season we're going to see Colin Simmons just completely flash to the inside and light up Marcel Reed. This is pure effort again, read option. The whole point of leaving Colin Simmons unblocked is you're trying to make him account for the quarterback, which he does. You can tell he's in a position to make a play on Marcel Reed if he decides to pull it. As soon as number 1 realizes that the quarterback doesn't have it, he's just going to put himself back into the box and make the play in the backfield. And we talk about the first step a lot like we should, that explosiveness, the bend, but I don't even know what to call this. Change of direction, maybe. Look at the way that he's almost on skates here, the way he can just kind of mirror Marcel Reed's athleticism in the pocket here. Like, look, just, if you drew a line where Colin Simmons is moving, it almost would look like a figure 8, the way that he just kind of skates around in the backfield here. And yeah, forces the issue on Marcel Reed again. Now, we said that right tackle did a good job kind of feeling how fast Colin Simmons was to the outside. This left tackle did not do that. You could take a look. This is third quarter, I think, and Colin Simmons is just 1 step, 2 steps, and he's in the backfield. Just look at how slow this left tackle is getting to his outside here. And, whenever you do that, they're honestly, Texas A&M's lucky that this didn't end up in a sack on this play. It's pure effort again. Every play with Colin Simmons, if he's not going to be making the play, where Marcel Reed starts in the backfield, in the box, he's just going to keep tracking down the quarterback. Not every top there's pass rushers that get drafted in the first round, that don't do that. I can tell you that much. There's pass rushers that get drafted in the top 5 that don't do that. If you got a guy with those traits that get you drafted in the top 5 plus the effort, pretty good football player is all I'll say. And then I actually think he got credited with a batted ball on that play there. So, yeah, the outside move and then the shed are nice, but I want to highlight the way he kind of turns his head and then finds the quarterback, and he's going to chase down Marcel Reed. He won't make a tackle on this play, but just kind of keep that in the back of your head again, because we'll see that on this very next play. You can see very fast to the outside. This is actually a good rep by the right tackle, protecting that outside shoulder. Again, this is a day 2 draft pick. Pretty good football player, the right tackle, 6'7", 340. And then Colin Simmons just completely redirects, There's pass rushers that give up once they don't beat him to the outside shoulder. Colin Simmons turns his head, completely finds the quarterback, and he gets credited with a half sack on that one. And then this is the second half sack that he got credited with. Kind of similar type play. But I'm really excited for Colin Simmons, and I'm so happy that we got another year of college football because he's a really fun football player to watch. You guys let me know what you think about him. Please check out we-draft.com as a place to kind of store all your draft evaluations. There's underclassmen on there, obviously. Colin Simmons an underclassman, but guys getting drafted in this 2026 draft as well. Wisner's up there, all those kind of guys. But thanks for watching.